out there, everybody? My sleevey GBs and my bariatric beauties. How are we? I'm your host, Kristen Tinsley, and this is the Fresh Sleeve of Bariatrics. So, it has been a very interesting week for me. It is now November, as if you didn't know that, but it's now November. And I am, actually, it's going to be the 15th tomorrow. So, I'm actually a couple days away from the 1 year mark because I had my surgery on December 17th. I can't believe that. I can't believe I'm actually almost a year. If you had told me that at this time last year, I would never have believed you. I would have been like, yeah, there's no way that, because it took 6 months for me to actually get through the whole process. And during that time I was in school, so I wasn't thinking, that I would ever get here. And I went another place that I didn't think that I would actually get to, and I went to the plastic surgeon's office for consults. Couple things about that. I got some questions from some group members that wanted to know what a plastic surgery consult was, and also from some bariatric patients that have already had the surgery for a while, and they're just kind of like, well, what do I do with all this skin? So I have the answers for you, but first, let's take a look back, because people ask me all the time, like, what did you look like before? Because I'm not exactly at my goal. So let's take a look back at some pictures of last year at this time. Actually, last year, I have one when I was at my lowest weight, which is the weight that I'm at now, and I also have some pictures that right before surgery, October, and right before I went in for surgery, probably like 2 weeks before I went in for surgery. So let's take a look at that, and then we'll get into the plastic surgery part and how that consult went. So let's take a look. That's me with Artie Lang at Governor's Comedy Club. I did a show that was literally the weekend before I went in for the pre-surgical testing. That was probably, that was well over 400 pounds. And I actually saw Artie recently, and he looks so much better, so much healthier. He's lost a lot of weight. His skin looks a lot better. He's just healthy. And I actually smoked my very last cigarette that night, and I have not gone back. So the next picture is actually a little bit is fun, actually. Yep. That's me and my sister. That's my sister, Kim. That was at the I Love Kickboxing Halloween party. I was a rainbow Lisa Frank unicorn. And that was in October. So, that was, I was still thinking about surgery at that point. I think I was going through a lot emotionally and mentally at that time, just thinking about it. And then the next picture, that was me. I was in my 20s. That was on New Year's Eve. That is the weight that I am at right now. I remember that girl. I love that girl. I actually had a plastic surgery consult a couple months before I took that picture. And that was the early 2000s, mid 2000s, I would say. I was in my late 20s in that picture, and I just remember I was so happy that night. I just broken up with a boyfriend that I couldn't stand, and I was going out on the town in Manhattan. It was New Year's Eve. I was on my way to China Club. I was feeling good. That was December, yeah. I think that was my 25th or 26th birthday. And damn, I looked good. And then the next one, that was, so you can see there's definitely, that was actually taken last week. So I was trying out some new hairstyles, and I was just trying out some new looks. And there's no filter on that picture. That's all me. So, that's me, looking glamorous and stuff. So, so I hope you kind of get an idea of where it's at. I love myself, so, always that. So let's get it started. Let's start the show. Let's start getting to some of these, the experience of going into the plastic surgeon's office. I stood outside the building, and for the longest time, I didn't look at the third floor. I was just like, well, I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to go for any plastic surgery. It's never going to happen. I'm just gonna lose the weight and I'm just gonna live with it. Wrong. I knew I had to get the ball rolling. I know that I am not at my goal weight. My surgeon did not give me a goal weight. He just said, listen, let's just see how much weight you could take off with this. If we need to do additional weight loss surgeries on you to, to push you to lose more weight, then we will. They were not sure as to what was going to happen because not everybody is successful with bariatric surgery. Not everybody is successful with that, okay? So because of the hormonal problems that I have, some little fact about me, I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, which that's another show. But if you wanted to email me or, ask me any questions about that, if you do have PCOS and you are considering getting bariatric surgery, I highly recommend it because, not to get too personal or TMI, but my periods have, for the most part, let's not say it too loud because when they hear it, that's when they start messing up again. They've come on time for the past 2 months, and the doctor said that would happen. So that means that everything is kind of moving in the right direction. But polycystic ovarian syndrome is actually a genetic disorder. It is not something that you can control. You can help it with food and exercise. You can kind of like offset the symptoms, but it's not a curable thing. So unfortunately, we have to kind of work around that. But so far, it's been good. I've noticed a lot of things, but that's a totally different episode. Okay, so what was it like to go into the plastic surgeon's office? It was nerve-wracking because they made me put on this like paper thong, and I was like, I've never worn a thong in my life, and I don't think I ever will again. And the nurse was like, oh, you'll see, don't worry, you'll see. And I knew I was gonna have to be naked. I knew that he was gonna be looking at my body, but I felt so comfortable with him. And I didn't feel like he was looking at me weird. I didn't feel completely exposed. I knew that I was in the right place because I definitely wanted to be with a surgeon that dealt with bariatric patients. I don't want to just go to a surgeon that just does plastic surgery. No, I want to go to a surgeon that deals with just bariatric patients. And the fact that he works within the same group of where I had my weight loss surgery is just a double plus. So he was just like this, this young looking guy, and he walked in and he had a big smile on his face, and I just looked at him, I said, listen, all this stomach here has gotta go. And he said, you're in the right place. And that's exactly what I wanted to hear. But he said to me, he basically said that he was going to have to cut me from all the way from the left side to the right side, or the right side to the left side, whatever you want. Just give you an idea, to cut off the panzus, which is what I would be getting. The procedure would be a pandalectomy, is what it's called, or a tummy tuck, depending on, but tummy tucks unfortunately are not, they're considered to be cosmetic, and we need to stick together on this, my bariatric beauties, and I'm going to find a way to get it covered by insurance, because unfortunately the tummy tuck is not, but it should be, because if your muscles, like I've been obese my entire life, so if your stomach muscles have been stretched out and have been, not in where they should be tightened up, and it shouldn't be a cosmetic procedure, because nobody should have to walk around feeling as if they've put in all this work and they've done all of this and they're still hiding. People ask me, well, you should love yourself. They say to me, well, you should love yourself, and you should just, find someone who's going to love you and they're going to accept it. It's not about anybody else. It's about how I feel. I want to be able to wear certain types of clothes. I want to be able to wear certain types of lingerie or certain types of bathing suits, and I should be able to do that without feeling like I need to cover myself up. And I do understand that there are people, I do have a lot of confidence. I understand that people can just walk around however they want. I'm not one of those people. This is one thing that has always gotten in the way. It's always been there my whole life, and this is the last time that anyone will ever have to tell me that you need, because that's what he said. He said, you need to lose another 80 pounds by the summertime, and then we're going to get it started. Because where it will be, hopefully, I'm hoping, is plastic surgery covered by insurance? Yes and no. Depending on where the skin is hanging, they measure it. This is my show, I'll say whatever I want. If your skin is hanging over your genitalia and it's causing rashes or infections, it is medically necessary to have that skin removed. If it's causing some sort of a back problem, if it's causing some, some other type of issue with your body, which I did notice over the summer, my skin is hanging in ways that it's never really hung before. I did get some very painful red rashes underneath the belly area, and it's not good. It's painful, it hurts, and it's just not, that's what makes it medically necessary. If it's not, and it's just a little bit of skin here, they're not going to cover it. I don't have all of the information right now, but I will definitely, if you want to join my group, I will definitely be talking about it more in the future. There are actual grants out there that you can apply for and that you can get to have the skin removed and paid for. There's also reality TV shows, although they don't pay for it. I was accepted by one, but they don't pay for your surgery. They just give you a payment for being a part of the show, which to me, to fly overseas, to get your surgery done in another country, if you have to pay for it out of pocket yourself, I wouldn't do that. Anyway, so moving right along. So he didn't mark me up with the marker. He didn't do anything like that like I thought he was going to do. He just said, okay, this is what we need to do. He set my goal, and I'm going for it. And the one thing that I was very happy about is when I left the office, I did not do anything to self-sabotage myself, because most people would sit there and say, wow, 80 pounds is a lot. How are you going to lose 80 pounds in 7 months? Well, I'm almost a year out, and I've lost over 100 pounds. But before that, I lost a lot of weight, because I still remember what it was like to be that 500-pound girl sitting there saying, well, I have to lose 300 pounds in order to be at my goal weight. And I'm so happy that this is the last time I'll have to lose. If 80 pounds is 80 pounds, it's much different from 300 pounds. So how am I going to do that? Well, I have the diet part of it under control for the most part. I am not perfect. I will be the first one to tell you that I am not always perfect all the time. I do eat things that I probably shouldn't, but it's not an everyday thing. I am human. I do go to parties. I do hang out with friends. I do get cravings. There are plenty of things that I go through, and I always try to find some way of replacing the foods that I used to eat all the time, but it doesn't always work. But from now on, I need to make sure that there isn't going to be any more of that, because in order for me to get down to that goal, I'm going to have to be very strict. Visualization. Blah, blah, blah. Visualization is the best way to get to your goal, and I'm going to teach you how to do that right now. Weighing yourself every week is not going to give you a clear picture of what your weight is. Water has something to do with it. Bones, organs, skin, everything has weight. So if you want to reach a specific number, the doctor told me he wanted me to be 230 pounds. Okay, so I went home. I have several vision boards in my house. Everything that's on the one vision board that I have has come true for the most part, except for, my date with The Rock, but it'll get there. I went to the store and I brought, because color is also a great indication of lifting your spirits and changing the energy around you, and blue happens to be a very good color. So I'm wearing blue today. I brought blue oak tag, which I've never seen before. It just so happened to be there, so I knew I was in the right place. And I wrote a big 230 in purple, my other favorite color, my other favorite lucky color, purple. Wrote a big 230 on the oak tag, and I tacked it right there in my kitchen. So every day I look at that and I get that number in my head. Another way to do visualization, if you're obsessed with the scale, I want you to take a piece of duct tape. I want you to write your goal weight, what it's supposed to be, and put it right over there. So every time you step on the scale, the only numbers that you see is your goal weight, because your brain is very smart, because it's your brain. But the brain wants to get back to the highest weight, because the body doesn't want to have to keep going through everything that you put it through. We're eating smaller amounts of food. We're exercising a lot more. We're putting a lot of work into losing weight. So the brain says, I don't want to lose all this weight. You're sick. There must be something wrong with you. We're working really, really hard. I want to hold on to everything that I have. So it's going to kind of trick you into it's going to kind of trick you so that you try to go back to that weight. And that's when the cravings will kick in. That's when you'll start eating more food. That's when a lot of other things will happen. So if you can train your brain, like, they tell you to switch up your food, or I'm going to tell you to switch up your food, switch up your activities, stuff like that. You have to constantly trick your brain constantly, every single day, so it doesn't get used to something. Don't let your body or your brain get used to seeing what's on the scale, what your actual weight is. Let it get used to seeing where you're going to be. Don't think about where you were. Think about where you're going, right? When you walk, your feet go forward. They don't go backwards. So keep it moving, okay? And get that thought out of your head, because remember, our eyes are actually like if you have a big meal in front of you, your stomach will actually stretch out like a snake does. When a snake sees a really big meal and it's the only thing it has to eat, it'll actually stretch itself out to accommodate that size food. So it's the same thing with humans. If you have a big meal in front of you, your stomach actually stretches out and all your hormones get released to make yourself hungrier than you are, so you can accommodate all that food, okay? So keep that in mind. And which brings me to my next point, because I have everything written down so I don't miss anything. This is very important. Self-love. Please, love yourself. Love yourself every single day. I'm going to be working on through several different things about self-love and trying to break the programming that we've had. We as obese people have gone through so much abuse, and not just from other people and from outside sources in society, but from ourselves as well. The abuse that we put ourselves through. Oh, why'd you eat that cupcake? Why are you eating that candy? You're so fat. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? You're lazy. You're this. All that mental programming that we have in our head needs to be broken, because our bodies are changing, our minds are changing, our lives are changing. But the one thing that I see so many women and men that have had bariatric surgery still pick on themselves, and they still say, oh, I can't do this, or I can't do that, or I'm taking care of everybody else and I forgot to take care of me. Stop that right now, please. You really need to get to a space where you know that you deserve love and you can take care of yourself. And taking care of yourself means drinking your water every day, taking your vitamins, meal prepping your food. You have to prepare for battle. You have to prepare for war, just like I have to prepare for war right now. If you've been obese your entire life like I do, you're fighting your genes. And that's something that, and I'm not talking about the genes that you're struggling to get into, which you'll be fitting in soon. Trust me, trust and believe in that. We're fighting a war here, and we have to do this battle and fight every single day. But the more you love yourself, the easier it is. Because when you're fighting something, it doesn't work. Fighting doesn't work. So you have to love yourself. And we need to change the programming. And I'm going to help you to do that. So right now, before I go, I'm going to lead you in some guided meditation. And the guided meditation is going to help us to break down some of those walls for right now. So right now, the first thing I want you to do, get yourself comfortable right now and sit back in your chair, on your couch, or wherever you are. It doesn't matter what stage of surgery that you're in. I just want you to focus. And the best way to focus is to take a really good deep breath. Take a deep breath right now. Take it in. That is one of the greatest weapons you can have, is to breathe. Because guess what it does? It makes you connect to your body. It makes you aware. It's the one thing that you can do for yourself to center yourself, is take that deep breath. Now, the visualization part might not be easy, but right now when I close my eyes, all I see is darkness, and that's what I want you to see. I want you to see the darkness that's in front of you, but behind that darkness is your goal. Right now, what I see in my mind, I just see blank dark. But in the corner of that darkness, there's a small hole of light. I want you to walk towards that light. Don't mind the coughing. There's a small hole of light. Reach up and touch that light and tear just a little bit, let a little bit more light in. Take another deep breath. Relax and know that it's okay to be close to your goal. You don't have to self-sabotage yourself. You don't have to be afraid of success. You can succeed in what you do. You can get to your goals. It doesn't matter if the insurance company doesn't cover your surgery. Believe it, trust and believe. Ask the universe and you will find a way. You will find the money to cover the surgery that you need, okay? Not everything can be done at one time, but you can do it. There will always be a way. Tear a little bit more down to that darkness. Tear just a little bit, let a little bit of light in. You know what I see? I see the 30, the tail end of my goal. Can you feel it? Can you see it? Maybe you picture yourself getting into the car without having to struggle. Maybe you see yourself getting out of bed without being out of breath. Maybe you see yourself reading your health reports from your doctor, reading your blood work and seeing that your A1AC is down, your blood sugar is normal, your periods have returned. You can take a shower without struggling. You can bend down to take your shoes off without being out of breath, and you can put your socks on while standing up. Maybe you can go into your closet and you can find some old clothes that you haven't been able to fit into years, and you can say, this fits me now, or it's too big and I can throw it away. And be comfortable. All of that is self-love. All of that is a non-scale victory. You don't need the scale to tell you that you're doing good. The only thing you need is to see where you're going. And as you get closer to where you're going, tear off the rest of that. Tear off the rest of that paper. The light is illuminated. The goal is right in front of you. All you have to do is set it in your mind. Do whatever you need to do to hold it. Hold it. Mine is 2:30. Every time it's 2:30 in the afternoon, I'm going to see it and it's going to set in my brain. Every time I step on the scale, it's going to be 2:30. Every time I see the number 230, I'm going to know I'm on my way. And I'm not going to do anything to self-sabotage myself. Because why would I do that? That's not self-love. I don't choose. When you say that in your mind, I choose to self-sabotage myself. Doesn't that sound ridiculous? I choose not to self-sabotage myself. I choose to live in the path, to get myself where I need to be, to set my goal, to clear my mind, and to live a life of self-love. Okay? That is what I wish for all of my bariatric beauties out there, all my sleevey GBs, everybody. If you have any questions, you can always join my Facebook group, the Sleevey GBs of Bariatrics. You can call me. You can friend me on Facebook at Fresh Sleeve. I am a certified holistic nutritionist, and I am definitely going to be getting into the holiday guide to surviving all the yummy foods that we shouldn't be denying ourselves, and I'm going to give you guys great alternatives for that next time. But up and coming, I will be having a hair expert that's going to be coming in and showing us how to do makeup and showing us how to fix our hair and make it look like we have more hair, because we all know that sometimes, you know, we lose our hair, but I have a solution for that. So I want to wish everyone well. If you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out, and I wish you good luck, and I will see you soon. Thank you very much. I am Kristen Tinsley, the host of the Fresh Sleeve of Bariatrics, and I will see you soon.